Hey guys, Wiki here with another CSR2 video. In this video, I wanted to see if ChatGPT can help you get good at CSR2. Because here's my thought process. When I was basically sitting in live races waiting for people to raise 200k bets against, I was always on ChatGPT, learning something new, asking it to write me some stories, so on and so forth. And this got me thinking. ChatGPT does know about CSR2. So can it help you get good at the game? To find out, I asked it two questions. Number one, what's the best way to make money in the game? And number two, what are some of the greatest live racers in the game? So without further ado, let's get into what ChatGPT told me. Now, first off, I asked it, how do you make money in the game efficiently? And I will go through its points point by point, but I won't be elaborating on why it says a certain point is good or not so good. I'll just tell you my verdict and tell you if ChatGPT can be trusted or not. So when it comes to money, point number one, regulation races. Now this is true, and what I would personally recommend if you're a new player. If you have a tier 5 car, do your pro regulation races in tier 5 and you'll get about 12k every time. The only caveat is that ChatGPT says CSR2 does not deduct gas when it comes to regulation races, which is, as we all know, not true. Anytime you do a regulation race, or any race for that matter, it costs 1 gas. So, as a result, ChatGPT is correct, but also partially wrong. Moving on to number 2, live races with bets. This is true. And in my opinion, this is the most efficient way to make money in the game. And that's how I got to 2 billion. It's by sitting in live races and raising 200k bets. However, CSR2 recommends you use a dyno beater tune, which, from my experience, is not necessary. All you need is a car with low PP and high evo, and you are more often than not ready to go and win some bets. So you don't need to beat dyno, and ChatGPT is also a bit wrong in this area. Number 3, daily trials and crew cup events. Also true, because every day you get 30 trial races, one that's around the map and one that's from Legends. So 15 each, it's 30 in total. And 30 in total, you get about, if I'm doing the calculations over here, about 300k to 400k, depending on what you're looking at. So I would say this is true. For the crew cup, that's not true, because every day you will get 3 attempts. So 3 attempts, 30k. 30k is pretty much nothing in this game. So I would say nope, that's not true. So daily trials, yes. Crew cups, no. Number 4, crew rewards. Now this is not true. I understand that if you're in a crew like mine that hits 35 million RP every season, you get most of the good rewards up to 5 gold keys. But when it comes to money, which was what I asked ChatGPT about, you only get about 250,000. And 250,000 in this it goes by very quick when you upgrade a car, because sometimes car upgrades can even cost 500,000. So 250,000 from something you only get once every 2 weeks? Absolutely not. So moving on to point 5, the Prestige Cup. This is not true, because the Prestige Cup is much like a long trial. You basically have to do your 30 race series, and you're basically doing this for crew RP, not money. Yes, money does come as a reward when you do the Prestige Cup, but it's not the main driving factor. So as a result, ChatGPT is wrong in this regard. Point number 6, ladder races and story progression. This is true with an asterisk. The reason I say so is because these are one-time events. For example, the ladder races, when you beat them all, you're done. You cannot repeat them, and that's it. Same thing with the boss races, like when you beat Shax in tier 5. Sure, you get 1 million, but that's just a one-off race, and you cannot repeat that at all. So when it does admit that this is a one-time payout, but it's also not listening to me, because I said I wanted money-making strategies, not one-off things. So ChatGPT also kind of got it wrong. So all in all, can you trust it? Only a little bit. When it comes to live racing with high bets, that is an effective way to make money. However, it says again, you need to use a dyno beater tune, which is not true. You can simply use a car with low PP and high evo and still do very well, as I've talked about time and time again, and might be making a follow-up video to guide you guys sometime in the future. So that's money making out of the way. I asked ChatGPT next, what are the top 10 cars for live races? It gave me 10. I won't be going over all the reasons, but I'll just tell you if the car is good or not. Number 1, the Porsche 911R. No, this is not a good live racer. It's a terrible car all around. It's used in showdowns sometimes, and that's about it. But other than that, it's really, really useless. There's no reason to use a Porsche 911R. Number 2, the Ferrari 488 Pista. Again, this is another terrible car that you shouldn't be using. And not to be confused with the 488 Pista Spider, because that is a great car. Number 3, the McLaren F1. And it finally says this is a car that can beat dyno, and this is true, but most people using the McLaren F1 are tuning this with low PP and high evo, not to beat dyno. If you're tuning your F1 to beat dyno, you're doing something wrong. So as a result, it's partially correct, and I'll give it credit for that. So good job, ChatGPT. McLaren F1 is a good live racer, and I also have some tunes for it, so I can confirm that it's true. Number 4, the Lamborghini Huracan Coupe. No, this is a terrible car. This came when CSR2 launched and has gone elite levels, but elite levels don't function as a redeeming quality because the car all around is really crap. It has really good acceleration and no top speed. And as a result, this car also cannot build Evo, so it's a car you should avoid unless it gets used in an event. So don't listen to ChatGPT. Huracan Coupe, not a good car. Number 5, the Nissan GT-R R35 Premium. It says this is a tier 5, but I know this is a tier 4. This is not a good car. You can use it to beat Victor Kid in tier 4, and it does well in Tempest. I believe Tempest 1 tier 4, but other than that, it's not a good car all around. When it comes to live racing, which is what I asked it for, this is not a good car. So moving on. Number 6, the Toyota GR Supra tier 5. I'm assuming this is the dress to impress Supra because it's far too soon that this thing knows about John's tuner pit. So assuming this is the dress to impress Supra, this is true. It does say that it's very tunable, which the Supra is, and it has strong fusion compatibility, whatever that means. I assume it just means fusion parts are very effective on it, which I would say is true. The Toyota GR Supra is a very good live racer, but not the best. It doesn't need stage 6s to excel, which is why I ranked it a B tier in my most recent tier video. So ChatGPT has gotten 2 out of 6 correct so far as good live racers. So moving on. Number 7, the Shelby Super Snake. Now, I don't know if this is referring to the 2019 one or the 2024 one because there are 2 Super Snakes in the game and it doesn't specify. But regardless, both Super Snakes are not good at live racing, depending even you look at both. The first one doesn't do well because that one needs a lot of elite levels and mainly is used in showdown. And the second one just doesn't have a good low PP high evo tune. Well, both of them actually. So you can say both Super Snakes are just not good at live racing. They're only good in events and that's all they'll be for. So moving on. Number 8, the Bugatti Chiron. Now this is true, but I said a car that's good at live racing. I didn't want a dyno beater, and that's what the Bugatti Chiron is. The Bugatti Chiron unfortunately doesn't have any low PP high evo tunes. This is a car you tune to beat dyno by a country mile, and that's all it's good for. Other than that, it's pretty pointless. So I would give it the benefit of the doubt because you can use it if you control your car right. So out of 8 cars, that's 3 decent ones so far. Number 9, the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. Absolutely not. But only if you have the dealership one that has no stars. If you have the one with 3 stars from Rare Imports, you can tune it to beat dyno. I can understand it, but that one needs some insider knowledge. You're not going to suddenly be able to find out how to get that tune. If you're a new player, you need some experience to do that. So I will say, okay, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And car number 10 they gave me, the Lamborghini Aventador SV. Absolutely not. That is an old car which doesn't perform very well in any way, shape, or form. I don't know why it's telling me this, because that is not a good life racer. And finally, it gave me a summary. What makes a car good for live racing? Number 1, it can run 0.1 to 0.3 seconds under dyno. Number 2, the shift pattern is simple. Number 3, it has good acceleration. Now, I'll just point out something here. It doesn't matter if a car can beat dyno. The most important thing, and number 1, should be the car needs low PP and high EVO, and I've talked about this a lot. And again, I will be making a video detailing this going forward. So, the most important thing in a car for live racing is low PP and high EVO. That's rule number 1. Number 2 is when we can talk about a car that can run faster than dyno. That should only be used in a last-ditch emergency, such as you and your opponent racing for 200k, your opponent is running really quick, and you need to run ever so slightly quicker. That's the only time that you should be running under dyno, because if you run faster than your dyno, the game knows and it's going to bump you, and when it bumps you, it's not a fun feeling at all. Your car gets pushed into a lobby where it cannot perform, and as a result, you get loss after loss after loss, and you have to go through the arduous process of down bumping your car, which really, really sucks. And as a result, it's not recommended. Just keep it as an emergency. Number 3 should be a simple shift pattern, not number 2. Because a car that has less gears, and I've talked about this before, make sure that you're less involved in the shifting. Because if you're too involved in the shifting, things can get a little crazy and you might mess up a gear or two. When a car has less gears, yes, it's easier to drive, and I'll admit that is true, but not a big priority. So that basically wraps up my experience with ChatGPT and CSR2. Can you trust it? I would say no. You're better off just going to YouTube, searching up guide videos for what you want. Money making, live tunes, you name it, YouTube is your friend. I won't say ChatGPT is useless, because it does get some things right, but I suspect it's just guessing as opposed to actually knowing what's really good and what's not. Like the McLaren F1, everyone knows about that car because it's in Legends. It's the final one that you unlock when you restore all the original Legends cars. I get that it's probably guessing. Same thing with the Supra, because the Supra is a really common car that you get when you start your Elite Tuner's journey. So as a result, I would say take what ChatGPT says with a pinch of salt. It's not worth trusting an AI that doesn't really know about the game to give you a rundown on what's good and what's not good in CSR2. Again, you're better off just searching up on YouTube and not asking ChatGPT. In the same way, I don't ask it for best creator classes when I play Call of Duty. I figure that out myself. So that wraps up my quick video on CSR2 and ChatGPT. To summarize, you shouldn't be trusting that. Go to YouTube if you really need some help. So if you like this kind of video, do leave a like, a comment maybe, and maybe subscribe if this kind of content, piques your interest. With that said, thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble on in this video, and I'll see you in my next video.